Has anybody come in and try to arbitrage it further? To come in and they cut a deal for a certain number of leads with you, and then they try to find a way to just basically resell them at a higher price?
No, that's not part of our program. No, we deal with big branded clients. So the types of clients that we want to deal with already have a national presence. They have a significant budget. They have a well-recognized brand. Their service or product or service that they offer would be very direct response oriented. So for example, we talk about insurance companies, that's a direct response business. We talk about things like moving companies, it's a direct response business. You talk about online dating, it's a direct response business.
What about Target? They spend $20 million a month on search or something. Could they benefit from you?
Probably not a perfect type of a client for us, as much as we'd love to have them. And the problem in that particular situation is just establishing what the cost per action is. They have a very broad base of products. They can have a shopping experience where a consumer will come in and spend $10 or come in and spend $10,000. So it's all about understanding and establishing the lifetime value of a client. Once you can understand lifetime value, you can then actually run a program around it. We want to be able to add that performance component to every client that we work with. So today, 100% of our revenue is performance-based revenue. There's no fee revenue, there's no cost-plus revenue or commission-based revenue, it's all performance-based.
So if a client comes to you and says, look, I'm spending $5 million a month with Google. I'll give you $5 million a month as a retainer against what you give me. Would you give them a better rate? Do you already do deals like that? They're spending it right now. They could do the same with you, or do you not accept their money, or is that out of the question?
No, that's not out of the question at all. If they're spending that type, they're spending $5 million a month, and they're probably a pretty good credit risk. So right now, our model today is we would spend the $5 million, and then come back each month and bill them for the results. And so it's not so much about getting a better rate, because there's not a commission type plan involved here. It's about establishing a cost per action that makes sense for our client and that we know we can deliver the results with. And so if the cost per action is $50, just to pick a number, we will go out through search and get every possible action available online for $50. And if we typically, like we do, we come in, we'll increase the volume significantly, and then the client comes back and says, this is unbelievable, I'd like more. And then at that point, the only way to get more is to increase the cost of the action, because we need to go out and spend more money to get it. So if they increase the action to $60, they'll see another significant increase in volume. So it's up to the client to figure out what the marginal value of every new incremental client is worth to them, and how much they can afford to spend on acquiring that new client. And once they understand that math, they can share it with us, and we will get those clients for them.
Do you use companies like Lead 360 to help you manage the lives of the leads and the actions, or do you have all your internal software?
We have everything's internal. We've made significant investments in technology. So we are a technology company. I have 40 engineers working on our platform and developing out our properties and continuously evolving the technology platform that we have. So it's not just bidding technology, it's bidding technology, it's testing technology, it's optimization technology. We have a very, very sophisticated data warehouse facility. I have 8 guys, all they do is crunch data and analyze data, and then help us understand what we need to be doing with that data to improve our performance. And so it's a complex business, and you have to have technology. So we've made a significant investment in our platform, and it does everything from lead management to lead delivery to it'll do everything required for our clients.
What about the local market? Are you involved in local geo stuff, or is that coming?
We do local search on behalf of our clients, and so a lot of geo-targeted search. We don't get down to the very micro granular level, so we won't work with small businesses like a Reach Local might. Reach Local is a terrific job, but that's not the type of business model that we have. We're looking for larger branded clients that have a spend, the minimum spend of around $100,000, but have the ability to spend a lot more. And a perfect client for us is $500,000+ per month, anywhere up to $5 million.
So about 100,000 a month is the minimum that makes sense for you at this point.
Correct. Given the amount of effort and the resources we have to expend before we make any profit, we really have to start at a level that makes sense to us.
It's an exciting model.
It's the future. It's all about performance. And part of a challenging part of the advertising market today is that with a pure cost plus model that's prevalent, there's no accountability in that. And so I'm just a huge believer that compensation drives behavior. And if the compensation model is I make money when you spend money, well guess what happens? You spend money first, irrespective of the result. Now this is a general statement, obviously it's not like that everywhere, but in the performance model, I only make money when I deliver pure value back to my clients. When I deliver exactly what I tell them I'm going to deliver, then I get paid.
So like TV?
Well, I think TV's an exciting market, frankly, and so like
how's that?
And so first and foremost,
what would you do differently if you own NBC?
Yeah, that's another issue. So, but I think where there's opportunities, so we're huge believers in offline advertising and offline marketing. The more effective you run your offline programs, the more effective we can be online. And so it's not a situation where, hey, this online stuff is working great, I'm going to stop spending my offline money. It's completely wrong. You have to have a balanced portfolio approach to marketing. You've got to have your offline spend, you've got to have your online spend, but the key here is if you're spending a lot of money offline and you're not doing a good job online, you will lose your shirt. You have to have a program that captures every opportunity, every impression that you generate from your offline advertising has to be captured online, and we do that extremely well.
In the Super Bowl, Pepsi pulled out, took their 20 million online. Coke took their spot, drove everything online with their television spots. You see that as something that's happening in the future, and do you think it's a good idea that they coordinate their offline with their online, driving stuff online?
Well, not only do I think it's a good idea, it's absolutely imperative. And if you do it right, the return on your investment can be significant. Part of the challenge today with offline and online advertising is just the attribution models that we're trying to understand how to attribute value to offline and online spend. And so we're working really hard right now to build an attribution model so we can help our clients understand where to get to optimize that spend to that perfect level. And so it may in fact be in many cases to increase their offline spend rather than decrease it. And so it's about managing all of the math, managing all of that data in one single repository where our clients can get really smart about their advertising and marketing spend.
In the old days, it was a direct response, PI, Gutbuster. I don't know if you remember those days where you had a remnant inventory, the television station would run a spot, and if someone called in to buy it, they'd make a couple of bucks. Seems like to me there could be a model here where a client promotes something, drives it online to your site, and you capture the amount of revenue that's created by that spot and have some kind of a revenue share with the station. If not, you could measure for the client what they got out of that spot. Have you been involved in any thoughts in that area?
So that's exactly what our model that we're building is all about. It's about understanding exactly how much spend comes off every spot or every campaign, and understanding how much, if it's profitable or not, how much you can or can't spend, and understanding where the cost of that media has to be to make the whole program profitable.
So I could run a spot on Grey's Anatomy, drive it online, and you could tell me the value I got out of that spot, and correct. I could compare it to what I paid, the 400 grand I paid for it.
If we have all the data, correct. So we can measure impression, like the impression lifts, just at the most basic level. Is there an increase in impressions online when you run that spot? And so most of it happens with branded search. So if you do it properly, so the big DR advertisers, they take Cash for Gold, for example. They spend a lot of money offline. They're a client of mine. We're their exclusive search partner. We're able to measure exactly what happens when they spend money offline, and measure it. We can measure exactly what happens when their spend goes down and exactly what happens when spend goes up. And there's an exact corollary result in what happens with that spend.
I can't think of a better business that basically the only reason everybody's not with you is they don't know about you.
They don't know about us yet, so maybe you can help us with that.
We're going to try. Thanks very much.
You're welcome.